Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the More Analytics Afternoon Energy Podcast for March 3rd, going into the 4th. I'm going to start off with natural gas. We left the gap open higher again on the day, but on the day itself, went out warning a pressure likely down into this gap before/if resuming higher trade. And that said, we also fell below this formation right in here, which also warrants a pressure. The failure below 383 brought in $5.5 of pressure. A couple other bearish calls in here I won't go over. Those are all on hold. And we held exhaustion down below at 279.20 to 277.40 with the 277.50 low. And I said the minimum target, if rallying into a bullish correction, would be 313.80. So we held that down here and we rallied up to 318.80, attaining the minimum target of 313.80 for 404 ticks. And then the trade above 294.20 brought in 237 ticks of strength warned about. And then the trade above 304.70 brought in 132 ticks of strength. But we failed back below it right here. So now this is bearish. Looking for pressure. Further break below this line right here, that'll warrant a decent pressure also. That's going to come into 295.70. If we were to break back above this line decently, that's going to warrant a renewed strength. That's going to come in at 303.90. $303.90 minus 0.5 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A decent penetration in there overnight. It's going to be 41 ticks. Maintain gap lower tomorrow. We'll leave a minor bearish reversal above. Okay, and the crude gapped open higher again today. On the day itself, it warrants a pressure, likely down into this gap before/if resuming higher trade. If we leave a maintained gap lower tomorrow, that'll leave a minor bearish reversal above. Okay, I'm not going to go over all the higher time frame stuff, but on a more recent time frame, we held exhaustion below with a 54.89 low and rallied to 77.98. A number of other bullish calls in here. I'm not going to go over all these. They did say in the post-market synopsis to break above this 72.05 line warrant of strength. We saw 548 of that into here and then a bit more up here to 77.98. Decent failure below this formation right here. Which is going to come in at 72.42 plus 7 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll warrant decent pressure for at least $3. $3 minimum, $6 plus maximum. Could also get short below the steeper line here, which comes in at 72.68. Plus 11 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m., but that would be a pretty steep line to lean against. Okay, and the RBOB gapped open a second day in a row. the day itself warrants a pressure possibly down into this gap before / if resuming higher trade. A maintained gap lower in there will leave a minor bearish reversal above. I would note that the RBOB came just shy of this exhaustion level up in here that we had at 254.09 to 254.79. With a 253.28 high and rolled over. Decent failure below this formation right here, which is going to come in at 239.96 plus 14 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. That'll warrant decent pressure for at least 6 cents. Maximum 14 cents plus. If we break below there decently, back up through it decently, look for decent short covering to come in. This smackdown actually happened in the post market, post close, so that's already going down into the gap and rejecting out of it. The heating oil left a maintain gap higher on the day, 2 days higher in a row. On the day itself, warns of pressure, likely down into this gap before / if resuming higher trade. Maintain gap lower tomorrow will leave a minor bearish reversal above. But this also has already dipped down into that gap and rejecting out of it. Brent, similar story, second gap higher on the day. The day itself warns of pressure down to this gap before / if resuming higher trade, which I assume we're already seeing. Yes, we come off into the gap and we're rejecting out of it. Decent failure below this formation right here, which is going to come in at 79.30. Plus 7 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to project this downward at least $2.50. Minimum $6 plus maximum. I would also note that this held exhaustion up in here at 86.35 to 46 within 85. Excuse me, hang on 1 second. Yeah, I did not have that written in there. I had 85, 12 to fade if we broke above there. But anyway, we held this and rolled over into here. So we'll have to see whether this rejects out and takes this out or not. And in the gas oil, again, second gap higher on the day, warrants a pressure down into this gap before / if resuming higher trade. And maintain gap lower will leave a minor bearish reversal above. We've already come off there pretty hard and are rebounding pretty quick. And the cadence going into tomorrow is the heating oil is a strong horse out of the three. The RBOB in the middle, and the crude the weakest of the three relative to one another. And again, you can see from here, being long the correct one made you far more money in 2 days to the tune of over 20 grand more just being long the heat rather than the crude. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on tomorrow's podcast.